Hello everyone, Miss Carrie here. I'm going to show you how to use a quilt die and 6x8 pattern papers to create an adorable puppy page. I'm going to be using this Modern Quilt Block Background die. This is perfect for those of you who are card makers, like I am. But today I'm going to show you how you can use it to create a scrapbook page background. I am also going to be bringing in the Pocket Life 6x8 pattern sheets. I used these recently on a card making project and I still have quite a bit left. HIPKIT has designed these to be similar to the 12x12 patterns, but they're much smaller in scale. These smaller sheets are going to be great for the quilt die because this scale of prints is going to fit perfectly into each section. As I create today's project, I'll bring in a few additional supplies. As always, I encourage you to use what you have in your collection, but if you would like a list of the items I'm using, one has been provided for you in the description below, along with my discount code to the HIPKIT shop. Let's go ahead and get started with the project. I'm going to start by creating that quilt block background. I have already cut out my pieces using that Modern Quilt Block background die. I also cut out the quilt grid, and I'm going to be using that as the template. As I mentioned earlier, these pieces were cut from the 6x8 paper pad. I think these smaller prints fit the scale of these quilt pieces much better. As I'm assembling this quilt background, I'm going to tell you a few things that I learned when I was putting this together. I placed this 8.5 by 8.5 piece of cardstock on my desk, and I used temporary tape to hold the frame in place. I'm working diagonally from the top left to the bottom right. The pieces fit like a puzzle. Before die cutting, I added double-sided tape to the backs of each pattern paper. This made it easy to peel and stick each one in place without the glue warping the paper. Now I plan on adding stitching in between those quilt pieces. If you do want to add stitching directly to the pattern pieces, you're going to want to use glue instead. Double-sided tape is going to gum up your sewing machine. All right, I'm getting to the end here. I'm going to finish this off camera and add some stitching details. Then I'll share the rest of the assembly process with you. Once the quilt design was filled in, I trimmed down my panel and laid it atop a piece of Liberty Blue cardstock. I placed that onto some white cardstock and framed it again with Liberty Blue. I created a frame with stitching around the large quilt block. The double frames and the stitching are really going to make the center of the page stand out. This background is rather busy, and I want to make sure that the photos are the focal point of the page. My photos are cut at 2 inches by 2 inches. I framed 2 of the photos in Liberty Blue, and I'm going to bring in some die cuts to frame my focal point photo. The focal image is layered with a floral tag and a stitched circle. The stitching around the circle matches the blue frames of the other photos. My photos are sitting vertically on the page, and a neutral colored title is going to sit horizontally over on the left. Now, of course, I have to bring in these 2 patterned puppy die cuts. I am placing these above the title. I'm trying to avoid layering any large embellishments over the photos. That would draw your eye away from them. When you have a bold and detailed background like this, it's really easy for those photos to get lost. Most of the items I'm adding are neutral tones or a soft blue. I kept everything simple with a few tags, tabs, and phrases. I'm going to bring in a simple little journal card. This comes from the 6x8 cut apart page. It has a nice green frame that matches those 2 patterned dogs I added near the title. It's also going to give a place to write the memories about this little pup. I'm also going to bring in a tiny little pink tag from this cut apart page. These pages do have dies that help you cut out the labels and tags. Today, I'm just going to quickly fussy cut this, and then I'll place it right here above my photo. To finish it off, I'm going to add some white daisies. This little puppy's name is Daisy, so I thought that these would be perfect for the page. I debated using colorful flowers on this page, but I feel like this white creates some little resting spots. It lets the eye pause between the patterns and gently directs it back to the photos. I'm going to finish adding my flowers and leaves, and then I'll share the completed layout with you. Here is my final scrapbook page. Photos of our sweet little grand pup, front and center, surrounded by all those cozy quilt blocks, stitched lines, and small floral details. To finish it off, I added a little bit of twine to the tag here. I also added some pink centers to the flowers to keep it really soft and simple. If this project inspired you, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and share it with your crafty friends. You can also join the HIPKIT Facebook group for more inspiration, challenges, and share what you've created with your hip kits. I want to thank you for joining me today. If you have any questions about this project or the supplies I used, feel free to post that in the comments below. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I can't wait to see what you create.